Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures. It's Friday, when this was filmed at least, and that means it's time for some more Obscurities in Literature. And today I was lamenting the fact that there's just no uniformity on my bookshelf. I was pulling out the Wrenchies again, which is one of my absolute favorite, if I can speak the words correctly out of my mouth, graphic novels that I've read in like the last 5-10 years at least. Absolutely great book, but it's a funky size. Like nothing on my shelf matches. Gunland comes close, but then like a traditional, American sized comic book, trade paperback, graphic novel, what have you. You can see here the heights are all different, and then you get into stuff like the French books that we've been showing off, and then you get to be really problematic. But that is absolutely nothing compared to today's book. We'll save all these others for some other time, or they might have already been filmed. I don't think I've ever shown the Wrenchies, though. I think it's high time I get to that. But no, today's book I saw in the background of somebody else's Instagram post, and I was like, crap, I got that book. And that is the Wednesday comics from DC. This came out a couple years ago, but I need to show you just how absolutely massive this book is. It is gigantic. Now, legend has it, because I don't remember ever frequenting a local comic shop, because there haven't been any local comic shops that have been worth frequenting in my eclectic tastes in the immediate vicinity. Sadly, the one that I grew up going to was part of a really nice, old-school, hippie-ish, new age strip mall type thing in a decrepit old schoolhouse, and it got torn down to make another mini mall. But that's a whole different story. So anyway, all of these stories, I guess, from my understanding, were actually put out in big trade newspaper editions from DC. Now, I never saw any in person. I don't know what they were like, but I'm assuming there's something like right here, just an actual newspaper-sized comic. This thing is freaking ridiculous in terms of its size, but also in terms of the people that are working on it. You have got some major names behind a lot of this stuff, which is absolutely cool. So, I'll get into some of those artists and writers as we go, but just the way that the panels are able to work on a page like this when you have a full newsprint page is very cool. So you got what's his name, Brian Azzarello? I think it's Brian Azzarello. I'm like, I'm gonna go check. I thought so. Yeah, I was right. Russo sounds really familiar too. I believe the two of them have done some stuff together, very noirish. I'm not sure. The name sounds familiar, but I don't know where I've heard it. But again, you've got a lot of interesting usage of space. But that's not why I bought the book. I'll be completely honest with you. Dang, this looks really familiar. I'm sure I've seen the guy's art. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to go look it up after I finish looking at this. Sorry, but I'm just not a huge Batman fan. I'll be honest with you. No, one of the major reasons I bought this book was for the Kamandi story in here by Dave Gibbons. Dave Gibbons of Watchmen and 2000 AD fame. But the artwork by Ryan Sook is so evocative of old Prince Valiant artwork. And I can't think of the guy's name at the moment. It just totally escaped my brain. I'm sure it'll come back to me. But man, oh man, are these some gorgeous panels. And absolutely, completely, and totally give off that adventure vibe that Prince Valiant did. That's something I should take out. I've got a bunch of the reprints that Kitchen Sink did. And I don't even think they're this big. Of course, I liked Kamandi to begin with, but I've got a thing for post-apocalyptic stories, as it is. One of the nice things is these stories, I think they really give the artists space to really play with, the story they want to tell, make it big, make it epic. And they're not exactly that short of stories either, so you do get some space to really tell them all. After that, we get into a Arcudi penned Superman story. I'll admit, I'm not super cool on Superman. I don't know. I'm sure I've read it at one point, but I can't remember it. Dead Man story in here is pretty fun. A very Bruce Timm style to the art. Lots of monsters, lots of demons. The way it should be. I was going to say, originally, I thought this would have been perfect for like a Mike Allred type story, but he didn't do it. We'll see some stuff from him later on. We get a Kurt Busiek written Green Lantern story. And again, not so much my thing. I mean, it's not bad. And then we do get into an actual Allred story. We get a Metamorpho story from him. And I was going to say, if any artist in this book has that vibe of a vintage superhero Sunday strip, Allred would be one of them. And even better, it's written by Neil Gaiman. So, can't complain there. And in true Allred fashion, very shades of Madman, we have like little puzzles and all kinds of fun stuff just jammed all over the sides of the page. And then as we get into all of the elements, we have the periodic table mixed in here in the story. Because why not, right? Teen Titan story. Sure. We're getting to what I really wanted. And I'll admit, between the Ryan Sook Commandi stuff and this right here, we have Paul Pope doing an Adam Strange story like in full Burroughsian, sword and sandals, Princess on Mars style stuff. This was absolutely gorgeous work. My brother turned me on to Paul Pope's work a long time ago. At first time I saw his stuff, never really got it. Then we met him at Comic-Con a few times growing up. Was always a really cool guy. Sometimes my brother gets stuff. And not Sparkle Trout, the other one in Japan. But yeah, just gorgeously drawn stuff. And I guess that's really, again, one of the advantages when you have such big spaces to work with. You can go nuts on every single little panel. You've got this very Deja Thoris girl in the story here. And again, a lot of space to really spread these stories out. Some fun stuff there. After the Strange Adventures, we've got Palmiotti and Amanda Conder's Supergirl story. Not as exciting to me, but they are fun. We get into a Dan Didio written Metal Men story. Never been a big fan of the Metal Men, so I'm going to skip that. Not that it's bad. There's another one back here. We've got a Ben Caldwell Wonder Woman story that is very nicely drawn. Again, really interesting use of both color and space. And then we get a full-on Joe Kubert Sergeant Rock story. I've always been a big fan of Kubert in my later years as a kid. Couldn't get it. Dang, it's super glossy, unfortunately. Kubert stuff really works. Don't want to spoil too much. I'm trying to get through it. We get into a... Who did this? I don't know. I thought Carl Kerschel and Brendan Fletcher did the Flash stuff. A big Flash fan. I'll admit I'm not the biggest DC fan, but that's okay. A Brian Steelfreeze drawn Catwoman story with the Demon, no less. We're at almost 200 pages in this book, too. It's just so big on the table. A Kyle Baker drawn Hawkman story. I liked this one. I felt like it kind of went back to his swashbuckling-like roots. If you ever get a chance to read some Golden Age Hawkman stuff. Complete with dinosaurs. Because why not, right? And then, one of the ones I enjoyed the most was Plastic Man by Evan Dorkin. My brother and I were super big Evan Dorkin fans growing up, and would bug him and chat with him every year at Comic-Con. Much to his chagrin, it seemed at times, but yeah, we were big fans of his Hectic Planet stuff. One of the cool things in the back of this book is we've got all kinds of sketch work as well. And I'm still trying to remember the dude who did Prince Valiant, and I don't know why it's coming to me, and I've got those books upstairs, and I'm sure as soon as I go up, I'm like, oh my god, this is embarrassing. I wish there was more sketch stuff from Paul Pope. Connor's sketches are nice. They're very light on the page, so. You can get some of Kubert's sketches. Fun stuff. So, I mean, a neat idea. Not something you see, and I mean, I gotta give it to DC. While I may not be the biggest fan of some of their properties, I will give them a fair shake every now and then. This is just an absolutely massive, massive book. Both in size, in weight, content, creators, everything in general. And it's kind of a shame that I can't think of any time that Marvel did anything similar. Usually, you know, the big two like to copycat each other. The only thing I can think that ever came close is the Monsters Attack crossover event that Marvel did a few years back, but that was just like, you know, a limited miniseries, whereas this, I think, was really something special. The stories were all tailor-made for this book. There's definitely something for everybody in this. I think if you like just traditional superhero stories, if you like some of the more esoteric, strange side of things of DC, like Adam Strange for me, or Kamandi, I mean, that's where my interests lie. And everything else is just like nice, you know, toppings on top of that. So, interesting book. As far as I know, there's still copies out there. Definitely take a look. It's just going to be quite ungainly when this takes up almost the entire area I filmed. Something to be aware of. But definitely something that is going to be fun to pull out every now and then, like I did, when you forget that you own it. And just refresh your memory and enjoy. So, with that said, this has been High Lord Tamperlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.